Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Oscar Mikey. Sievert has added a couple of new skill systems recently that change up the gameplay quite a bit. One of them is a weapon skill system that rewards you for using different weapon types, and the other is a skill system that lets you choose perks when you level your hunter up with XP gains. Let's take a closer look at these new skill systems today. Okay, let's start with the weapon skill system. It was added with patch 0.52 when the game was still in early access, and it's carrying over to 1.0 here. It works like a typical skill and perk reward system, and it's a nice additional way to be rewarded for your playstyle and progress. The way it works is you level up your skill with different weapon types by using them while you play the game. And when you reach certain skill levels with a given weapon type, you get to pick a perk. Pretty simple. Weapon types are broken down into pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, assault rifles, DMRs, and sniper rifles. As your proficiency with the weapon type increases, a handful of preset stats for each weapon type actually gets stronger. This kind of depends on the weapon type, and it can be stats such as reload speed, ergonomics, minimum range, damage, and recoil. At certain intervals, you'll unlock a skill point that lets you pick a perk for that weapon type. For example, if I really like assault rifles and I use them a lot, not only are my recoil and accuracy stats going to gradually get better, but I'll be able to select perks when I level up my assault rifle skills to certain points. You can do this several times for each weapon type in the game, and the points that unlock skills are marked in yellow or gold. Pistols, SMGs, shotguns, and DMRs all have 4 unlockable perk points, and assault rifles and sniper rifles have 3. These are a few of my personal favorite skills in no particular order. Armor No Problem gives an extra 20% chance for any shot to penetrate armor. This is actually really amazing when you're going up against the tougher enemies like Kiba. He's got insanely good armor and it takes a lot to get through that, so any extra help is definitely appreciated there. Prolonged Vision keeps enemies visible behind barriers for 2 seconds when you damage them. This is also really helpful because it helps you track enemies when they duck behind cover and maybe if they plan on flanking you or something like that. It's helped me a bunch of times, not only with the standard bandits, but also with bosses too, like Lazar and his guards. Lazar and his guards can be big fans of movement and flanking, so it is pretty nice to still be able to see them when they go out of my vision for a couple of seconds. And Suppressive Fire gives a 15% damage boost to your weapon if you're shooting full auto for longer than half a second. My playstyle is definitely fully automatic. I'm not really a semi-auto guy. I like to do a lot of shooting, I like my assault rifles, and I do enjoy SMGs every once in a while, but I'm definitely an assault rifle player. Getting that extra 15% damage, my mind is just going to the bosses again, because some of the bosses in this game are really difficult, and sometimes I feel like I need all the help I can get with them. A lot of the weapon perks are actually available for multiple weapon types, but there are a couple of unique ones. Shotguns, for example, have a perk called Reload Artist Double Barrel. This perk reloads double barrel shotguns faster by loading both shells at once instead of one by one. This is really cool. I like that there's weapon-specific skills, and it's not just a bunch of the same generic skills that can be used with all the weapon types. One of the things that I really like about this skill system is that as long as you're inside the bunker, you can change up your perks, and there's no real hoops to jump through or respecking your entire skill tree when you want to use a different perk. You literally just go in, click on the new perk you want to apply, and it replaces the old one, no fiddling around. This is really great just for ease of use, but it also means you can make new builds and try different playstyles on the fly if you want to. Well, that's about it for the weapon skill system. Let's talk about the hunter perk system now. The hunter perk system is pretty similar to a lot of XP leveling and perk reward systems in other games. You play the game normally, go out into the wasteland and you do things like complete quests and kill enemies, all the normal things that you'll be doing in Sievert. Eventually, when you get enough XP, your hunter's going to level up, and that will give you a point to spend on a perk that gives your hunter a new ability or some sort of buff. They're divided up into tiers that basically define early game, mid game, and late game perks. You get 3 points to spend on 3 perks in the first tier, and once you pick your third perk, the list updates to the next tier. In this tier, you're able to pick 4, And in the last tier, you're able to pick 3 for a total of 10. A lot of the perks are pretty cool. Radiation's always a pretty big problem for me, so for at least one of my tier 1 perks, I'd go with the Stalker perk. It decreases radiation absorption rate by 50% and decreases damage from anomalies by 30%. I'm always sprinting in Zero Sievert, I'm always running around like an absolute madman, and sometimes I don't see fire anomalies, so taking a little bit less of a hit from those would be really nice. For one of my tier 2 perks, I'd go with Loot Goblin, which increases looting speed by 50%. This makes a huge difference when you're looting containers, it's just so much faster. There's always a chance that something or someone could sneak up on you while you're looting, and this perk makes sure you're not vulnerable for too long. Plus you're spending less time in menus and more time actually raiding, which is nice. For one of my tier 3 perks, I think I'd go with Field Medic. This decreases usage time of meds by 50%, which can be a total lifesaver just like Loot Goblin. I've lost count of the number of times I've been rushed and injured by an enemy and only had a second or two to pop some meds before I had to get back into the fight. This one gives me such peace of mind knowing I won't be sitting for ages trying to heal while someone casually rolls up on me. There's a couple of things you need to keep in mind with the Hunter perk system. You need to make sure you pick exactly the perks you want when you can, because each tier replaces the previous one when you finish. You can't actually go back and pick more than the allotted number of perks for each tier. At the end, you should have a total of 10 out of 21 perks applied to your Hunter. If you have any perk points available to you while you're in raid, you can actually pick a perk while you're in raid, which is really nice. And if you decide you want some different perks, you can actually respec your Hunter super easily. This you have to do in the bunker though, there's no respecing while in raid. Respecing is really easy, there's no hoops to jump through. Just open your PDA, go to the perks page, and click the reset button in the bottom left. You can do this as many times as you want and it doesn't cost anything. Well guys, that's a basic rundown of the new skill systems in Zero Sievert. I really hope you got some useful information out of this video and you feel a bit more prepared to tackle the Wasteland, whether you're new to the game or you're returning to it. Shout out to Cabo Studios and Modern Wolf for partnering with me on these videos. My name's Oscar Mikey, I make lots of content on Zero Sievert over on YouTube. Thanks again for watching guys, I really appreciate it and good luck out there in the Wasteland.